All right, part 4, and we've made some real progress in part 3. You know, we've got structure, we've got actual beams and posts in the ground. So I'm really excited about that. What I'm not excited about is this weather. It's raining on me right now, and it's supposed to snow tonight. This is May 1st. Oh, so I'm really just going to try and take the Neil's approach from Dig Drive DIY of just trying to get something done today. I did get weed block down before it rained and some of the stone on it. I had to go get another 5 tons. This is 5 tons right here, as thin as this is. Anyway, I've got to spread another 5 tons on top of it. One more piece of weed block to put down. Then I know that even with the rain, I'm not going to work in the mud. So I'll get to doing that right now. Get one thing done. Well, I definitely got enough gravel down that I feel confident that I'm not going to have to climb underneath the deck and put more. So now I can start moving some material over here. This weather is just nasty. Oh, I'm trying to work in between the raindrops. I think I've got about 30 more minutes to work, and then it's going to pour for the rest of the day, the night. We're supposed to get snow, and then snow and rain tomorrow. Oh, guys. I don't know, I'm gonna get some of this done. Oh, that's wonderful. That might be scratched forever. Yes, the lens is scratched. I got lucky though, it got scratched on the side, not right in the center, so. Anyway, it's an $800 camera. That's why I was so concerned. But I can still use it. It looks pretty good, I think. Anyway, so in this wonderful weather, I am going to continue and try and get another thing done. So I've got my rim joist here. Now this would normally be, if I were connecting to the house, this would be the ledger board, okay? But because I'm not connecting it to the house, it's just gonna be another rim joist. And, well, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. So the first thing that needs to be done here is we need to go and mark exactly where the joists are going to be. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with one joist here. You put an X and a mark at 1.5 inches right there. Then you're going to take your speed square, put a mark at that 1.5 inch mark like that, and that X shows you exactly where that joist is going to go. So I'm just going to continue to do that at every 16-inch mark, which is, you know, very conveniently marked on a tape, of course. Put an X and put another mark at 1.5 inches and keep going down the row. Okay, so now that I got all this marked where the joists are going to go, 16 inches on center, I'm going to set this up on its end, and I'm going to kind of use this beam as a workbench. So I want to set this up on its edge here, carefully. And I'm just gonna clamp it to this beam so it doesn't fall over. All right, now I'm gonna take my first 2x12 rim joist here, muscle it in place, and I'm gonna get it lined up right at the end, right about there. Sorry if I don't sound happy, if there isn't a smile in my voice today. Oh, goodness. I just can't sit around and do nothing. I gotta do something. All right, let's get that in place. So I'm using 3-inch structural deck screws, guaranteed for life, because that's what I have on hand. And I'm just gonna put a couple of these in the end. I am going to pre-drill these because going into end grain, these have a tendency to wander. I'll go down about 2 inches. Now we're going to come down here to our last mark on the opposite end of that. I want to hold this up So it's perfectly level at the top. I'm going to pre-drill this top one. And I'm going to go ahead and get that in there first so it doesn't move around on me. There, perfect. All right, let's get another one in it before it goes anywhere. Now that I have this U shape, I can slide this back against the wall. Of course, if you had two people, you know, you could both do it at the same time. Okay, now we got this kind of laid out, got our joist marked. We got two joists on it, so it's not going to fall or go anywhere. It's clamped in place. Now the most important thing with this step is to make sure this is square. So how are we going to do that? We're going to use that 3-4-5 method. I went out and I marked 12 feet on this piece, and I marked 9 feet on this piece. So 3, 4, 5, 12 feet is 3 times 4. 9 feet is 3 times 3. And then 3 times 5, we're going to need to have 15 feet. So I'm going to use my trusty little laser here. This thing is fantastic. Let me show you. So I've got my 9-foot mark marked very clearly on the wall. I need to be able to see that. And I've got my 12-foot mark very clearly marked on the board. Now I just need the 15. So I'm going to set the back of my laser perfectly lined up with that corner. Then you push this little button. It shows you where your laser is. Get your laser right on the mark. Push your button. Get your reading. 14.965 feet. Boy, is that close. That's not bad for eyeballing it. As you can kind of see here, this edge is right on the edge of my beam. So I don't want to move that. So I moved the other mark, I moved that whole rim joist over along the side of the wall and remarked it. Let's see what we got. Can you see it? Can you see it? Let me see if I can take any better than that. 15 feet. So now I have everything marked exactly where I want it to be. And since it's all marked, now I have to move it. So the reason I have to move it is there's a couple of areas like this over here. The beam sticks out just maybe less than 1/2 of an inch. I can't have that because when I put fascia on it, it's going to stick out. So that has to be flush. All of these measurements, they get more and more critical as you go up. So drilling the holes, you get as close as possible. Setting the beams and the posts, you get closer with a little bit of tolerance. Now you really have to make sure everything is just perfect, because you can make up for an inch on the previous steps. Maybe you can make up for 1/2 an inch on this step or 1/4 of an inch. And by the time you start laying deck boards, they have to be perfect. So anyway, I'm going to trim these boards so that they fit exactly where I have them placed right now. And then I can screw them in place. There we go. Oh, the weather's beautiful, isn't it? Have I said how nice the weather is these past, it's going to be 6 days tomorrow. 6 days that this system has just churned up through Canada, across the lakes, and into Northeast Ohio, and just done this all freaking, here it comes. Oh my gosh. Anyway, the last thing I need to measure and cut here before I can screw this in place and be done for the day. This here, they got your joist comes right here, and then every one of them 16 inches on center. Well, this 16 inches comes right here. Now I'm going to need to connect another rim joist to this. So I'm going to want to scab a piece on, but I can't have a joist right here. So I need to cut that somewhere in the center. So I'll probably go halfway, you know, mark it at about, about 7 or 8 inches. Let's do 7.5 right there. And then I'll be able to cut that off, and when I put my next piece of rim joist in, I'll be able to connect the two together and it'll be good and solid. Of course, I made sure this joist over here is square using the same 3-4-5 method, and it's perfect. So now I can secure all of this in place and move on. So as you can imagine, this corner here is a crucial connection, so we're not just going to leave just those screws in. We're going to use a Simpson Strong tie L70Z, which is just a 7-inch L bracket, and we're going to secure it in this corner right here using 1.5 SD screws. Next, we're going to move over here to this other joist that I installed. Remember, I ran 2 screws in behind it, but that's not going to do it. So we need to put a joist hanger under this. I'm going to get it up nice and tight. All right, there we go. You want to make sure that's good and tight against the bottom. And using the same 1.5 SD screws, we'll run them in here. Get this up against it, run this one in. There we go. Once those 1.5 screws are in place, we're going to switch to the same type of screw, but it's a 2.5 inch, and you go straight in through here and it ties it all together. There you go. All right, well, I got something done this week in spite of all of this. Hey, I'm not working in the mud, you know, that worked out. All of this is in place. This is the start to putting in the joists. Everything is square, everything looks good. So I am very pleased with where I am. Next, I'm going to be inside the house. Let me show you somebody else who's inside the house. These little rascals here are Simba and Nala. They are brother and sister, but if you know how a lion pride works, Simba and Nala in the movie would have been half brother and half sister, so I guess it works. Anyway, cute little buggers. I intended them to be barn cats, but I think they're going to do just fine inside. Anyway, I appreciate you watching this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the weather. Sorry we didn't get more done, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and we'll be looking forward to better weather at the end of this week, and Saturday's video should be much more productive. So until then, I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time on Saturday when I am doing more stuff.